And we're joined with Aaron Jensen from the State of Waupaca for our weekly community update. And I remember my first full summer in Waupaca, 2012. It was that week, just extreme heat, kind of like what we're seeing this year. But if you, I remember that summer, if you looked across the street from City Hall to the old Farmers State clock and thermometer on the corner of Fulton, Maine, I think 5-6 days in a row it hit 100, at least according to that. And we're on that same week right now, and it's hot and it's getting into the 90s, but luckily we're not getting into that extreme heat of the hundreds. But with one consideration with the heat is maybe people that don't have access to air conditioning or just a cool place to be during the heat of the day, and the city has a solution in place to help out with that. Tell us about that.
We do. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, it's supposed to be warm. We are going to have a cooling shelter in place, and we use our recreation center for that. I think right now with all of the COVID stuff happening, that is our best facility to ensure that if people are using it, that people can stay socially distanced. We encourage people to wear masks when going in there, strongly recommend it, in fact. And we will have some areas set up so they can ensure they are socially distanced. Right now, the hours of that today and tomorrow are 7:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. On Friday, even though it's an observed holiday for the city, we are going to have that staffed kind of at least during the heat of the day. We're going to have it opened at noon, and that's going to go till 8 p.m. on Friday. That will be closed and not available on Saturday, with it being the 4th of July. And we're working on some staffing for Sunday, at least during that afternoon heat. And we will, I guess I would encourage people to check our Facebook page for updates. And we will get that word out there as far as the Sunday hours.
Another thing beside the heat people are noticing is there's quite a bit of activity downtown. There's a couple city-led projects going on, and the first one is if you get around City Square, you're noticing a lot of large trucks and a lot of activity going on. What's that all about?
Yeah, so we have a roofing project that we're doing. We have some rubber roof that needs to be replaced, and over that rubber roof is a bunch of rocks or gravel. I'm not using the correct terms, but they have some machinery going up there, kind of vacuuming the rocks off, hauling it away in dump trucks, and then replacing the roof. So we're able to get that done. If you see some commotion around City Hall, around City Square, that's exactly what's happening over the next few days. And then the Granite Street project, part of the Granite Street project were the back alleys along Main Street, and the business owners know that that's getting done right now. We've gotten a few calls from a few building owners that maybe have said, hey, our garbages are starting to smell for whatever reason, that stuff's not being picked up. Feel free to call us if that's happening, because we have contacts with some of these service providers. It's not always us, but we have people that we can get a hold of. And for that exact example, we have restaurants, things are starting to smell back there. And we were able to call somebody and just tell them, hey, even though there's work being done, you guys can still access it. Don't kind of just see that the work's being done and don't come down and pick it up. So call us with any questions, any inconveniences. We are here to help. So.
Perfect. And then the last thing we want to talk about, it's a quick update this week, but we're headed into a holiday weekend. COVID's here. It's not taking the weekend off like many of us are. And that means we shouldn't totally let our guard down in regard to what's going on locally and regionally. And that we know COVID's in the community, we know it spreads, and perhaps the bigger the gathering or the more people together, or maybe not following some of the guidelines out there, gives it an ample opportunity. And we want people to be safe this weekend. We don't want to hear in 1 or 2 weeks that there's a big spike of cases because people were not mindful over the weekend. And what are some recommendations that people should consider as they celebrate Independence Day?
Well, that's a good question, Josh. And really, all the recommendations we're pushing are really fall in line with our county health department and the CDC. And I'll get to those in a second. I do want to go back. When this whole thing, obviously, we've been through a lot of phases already of this COVID, and it started with the Safer at Home order, and then the changing of the Safer at Home order, and then the striking down of the Safer at Home order. And I know, we as a city, I know we sent out a statement at that time when the Supreme Court made their decision and restrictions were lifted. And we said, hey, we're happy that our businesses are able to get back and running, but we also realize that this thing hasn't gone away overnight, and we're still in that same boat, right? The COVID's still here. The longer it goes, the more people are antsy to get back to normal life, and I totally understand that. you get fatigue from having to do things different all the time. But I think what we want to continue to promote all of the experts' recommendations, and those experts are the CDC. And we want to just encourage everyone to wear masks as they go into the grocery stores, as they go into our local businesses, because, as a reminder, that's not just about protecting yourself. It's about protecting anyone you might come into contact with, or protecting those people that are running those businesses that, they want to be up and running, but they also want to be safe. So it's just about kind of having that respect for other people. And we hope that people strongly consider taking those CDC recommendations and running with them. And we know that this weekend's a busy weekend, especially around here in Waupaca. We know a lot of people are likely getting together, whether it's with family or whatever it may be. Some of the recent cases, in talking with the county health department, are being tracked to areas that have gatherings. And, that goes along with some of the suggestions from way back when, it seems like 3 years ago, but 3 months ago.
2 months ago, yeah.
Right. And the idea of not having mass gatherings. So we realize that people are going to be getting together. We just ask that people do so in a safe manner, especially this weekend, and just take each other into account when you're doing things.
I know the more I read and hear and see about COVID, just like everyone else, whether you see an article or on the web, or see something on the news or a press release or whatever it is, the big theme to me, a lot of information has changed, and I think that diminishes some credibility with what people think about. But the one common theme that I've seen the whole time is, if you cannot socially distance yourself, and they define that by 6 feet, with people who are outside your household, then they recommend a mask. And that's the one big takeaway, to be smart about it over the weekend. And not just over the weekend, but, long term. But if you're going to be in groups of people, that's one of those things they've recommended almost the whole time consistently, that hasn't changed on us.
Right. You're right. And the social distancing is still a huge component. I know I talked about masks, but I mean, social distancing is as effective as you can get, right? The less you're in contact with people, the better, as far as the transference of this disease goes, or virus. Like you said, we're going to be dealing with this for a while. It'd just be good to get into that habit of doing the things that we can do to make sure we can continue to move towards a sense of normal. Because I think what everyone doesn't want is things to get out of control, and we have to regress from the path that we're wanting to head on. And that's really what we want for everybody.
So we hope everyone has a great holiday weekend, and you're just safe and smart about what you do, so that we can all come back the next couple of weeks and kind of keep doing what we've been doing. And just like you said, not have to go back at all.
Absolutely. And we, I guess the last thing, just happy 4th of July to everybody. I hope you guys are able to enjoy your weekend. And, I know we're looking forward to seeing some family and spending some time there. So.
Well, Aaron, thanks for getting us up to date about the few things going on right now. It's kind of a short week and a long holiday weekend, and I'm sure more will be coming our way the next couple of weeks to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Josh.
Right. Thank you.